You hand over the rent and someone says it, almost casually, renting is just throwing money away. You have heard it so many times it has started to sound like a fact, but facts should be tested, and this one has a number behind it. By the end of this video, you will have one formula for comparing what owning a home actually costs per year against what renting costs. You will know which side is winning at current mortgage rates and what changes the answer. Most people start the rent versus by comparison the same way. They look at a mortgage repayment and compare it to rent. If the repayment is similar, they assume owning is at least as good. That is the first place the maths quietly goes wrong. A mortgage repayment has two completely different parts. One part builds equity, that is savings, not a cost. The other part is interest, and it goes to the lender. Only the interest portion is comparable to rent. Everything else needs to be counted separately. When you own a home, three cost buckets fill up every year regardless of what happens to the property value: property charges, rates, and insurance. Maintenance, ongoing upkeep of the building, and the cost of capital, which is the price of having money tied up in the property. The cost of capital is the least obvious bucket. Your deposit, sitting in a property, could have been invested and growing elsewhere. The return you are giving up on that money is a real cost every year, even though there is no invoice for it. Add those three buckets together, and you get what researchers call the 5% rule. In rough terms, the unrecoverable annual cost of owning a home is around 5% of its value. That estimate was built for a much lower interest rate environment than the one we are in now. At current mortgage rates, the cost of capital component has nearly doubled from what the original rule assumed. In many markets right now, the real unrecoverable cost is closer to 8% of the home's value, not 5%. That is a significant difference over a full year. Take a home priced at $900,000. At current rates, the annual unrecoverable cost adds up to roughly $70,000 per year. That is money leaving the household every 12 months, regardless of whether the property rises, holds, or falls in value. For renting and owning to be financially equivalent, your monthly rent would need to exceed $5,800. In most cities, actual rents on similar homes sit well below that. The gap between the two numbers is the monthly saving a renter can potentially invest. That gap is the number that matters. If the renter puts the monthly difference into something that grows, the financial comparison stays competitive with home ownership, even without building equity through repayments. The word "if" is doing a lot of work in that sentence. Owning has genuine advantages that do not appear in a cost comparison. You cannot be asked to leave. You can change the place to suit your life. And for many households, the repayment discipline builds real wealth that would otherwise disappear into everyday spending. So here is the question for your household: which matters more right now, the financial edge that renting can deliver when the difference is genuinely invested, or the stability and permanence of owning? Neither answer is wrong. The maths just makes sure you are comparing honestly. Buying does win over long hold periods. As you pay down the mortgage, the interest component shrinks year after year. By the later years, the ongoing unrecoverable cost has fallen significantly. Capital growth, when it happens, can more than offset what the early years cost. In markets where rents are genuinely high relative to property values, the check can flip. If you are paying $4,000 a month to rent a property worth $500,000, the buying comparison looks much stronger. The gap between renting and owning narrows considerably. Before ownership even begins, there is a cash wall to clear. Stamp duty, legal fees, and inspections typically add up to $50,000 or more on a home in that price range. That money is spent before the first repayment and does not build equity. The upfront cost is not the only transaction expense. When you eventually sell, agent fees and legal costs typically remove another few percent of the sale price. A short hold period gets hit at both ends, entry and exit, and the maths rarely works in the buyer's favor. A large upfront cost means the monthly comparison needs years to recover what the renter avoided spending. If you plan to move within 3 or 4 years, those transaction costs simply do not have enough time to repay themselves. The timeline matters as much as the monthly gap. The rent-to-wins calculation only holds if the monthly difference actually goes somewhere, an index fund, a savings account, something that earns a return. If it drifts into lifestyle spending instead, the financial case for renting quietly disappears. Be honest about which of those two outcomes fits your household. The formula is sensitive to the interest rate environment. When rates were lower, the cost of capital portion was much smaller, and the original 5% figure held. As rates rise, the unrecoverable cost rises with them. Always run the check using the actual rate available to you today. None of this means renting is better. Stability, belonging, and control over your own space are genuinely valuable. The check simply asks, do you know the financial price of that stability? Because knowing it lets you plan honestly around the gap, rather than being surprised by it later. Here is the check you can run tonight on any property you are seriously considering. 5 steps, no spreadsheet required. They tell you what owning would cost per year, whether the local rent is above or below your break-even, and how long the upfront costs take to repay. Start with the purchase price. Add roughly 2% of the value per year to cover rates, insurance, and maintenance. That is the straightforward part. It is usually not the largest cost, but it is there every year, and it is completely unrecoverable. Then add the cost of capital. Multiply your deposit by a return you could reasonably earn elsewhere, call it a conservative 6%. Multiply your loan amount by your actual mortgage rate. Add both results together. That combined figure is typically the largest part of the whole calculation. Add everything together for your monthly total. Then look up what the same property would rent for in your area. If rent sits below your total, renting and investing the gap gives you a financial edge. If rent sits above it, buying starts to carry its own financial weight. Neither option is free. Renting is not wasted money if the saving is genuinely invested. Owning is not automatic wealth if the costs run ahead of the growth. The household that knows its actual break-even number is the one that can make this decision on its own terms. The goal is not to pick the option that sounds smart at a dinner table. The goal is to choose the one that fits your household, your cash flow, and the life you are actually building, with both eyes open on the real cost of whatever you choose.